Hi viewers, you're welcome back to Paradigm Shifts. This is the second episode and we have a very interesting topic today. I have here with me
Kofi, aka Ochale.
And I'm Timiekka.
Yes. So today's discussion is about marriage and gender roles. What I know marriage to be about is it started from creation when God gave Adam a very beautiful woman. God said that man should not live alone and that he needs a helpmeet. Every man out there needs a helpmeet. Don't be proud, you need a helpmeet. That was when marriage started. The man has to leave his mother and his father to cleave to his wife. What do you think about marriage personally?
I think marriage is a good thing. First of all, when you live with somebody who you love, and also you're married to them, it helps you balance things that you might be short on. He or she is able to pick up on stuff that you might be on the short hand of. Yeah. So I definitely think it's a good thing if you were ready for it. You know what I'm saying? Because definitely some people, and make sure you pick the right person too, because it could either be your, it could either upgrade your life or be your downfall.
Wow.
In a certain sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. I agree. I think if done well, and if both people are ready, marriage can be a very beautiful thing and help you go even farther in life than you would be able to on your own.
Okay. What's your take on gender roles? You think couples should have the same roles or there should be a different rules for each couple?
When it comes to gender roles, it depends on the circumstance and the environment you find yourself in, and the culture of where you are. Because somebody in a married couple in Ghana or in Asia is not gonna have the same roles or expectations than somebody who lives, a couple that lives in the West. It rotates from background to background. And personally, I think that there should be roles assigned, because if not, it's easy for everything to just get messed up, and then you might be expecting your partner to do certain things and then they don't end up doing it, and you might be like, why is this person not doing this? I feel like it's something that has to be discussed.
Okay.
Yeah, I think gender roles are important. Me personally, I like gender roles. I think that women have their strengths and men have their strengths.
Okay.
The whole point of having a partner is to have that person complement you. Yeah. So like you were saying, where you might be short on something, your partner can pick up on that. And I think, like you said, they do need to be defined. It's not something that should just be assumed, because every couple's different. So I think it's important to discuss them. Yeah. But for me personally, I think as a man in a marriage, it's your job to lead your wife. Yeah. And the only way for you to do that is if there are defined roles. If you guys are doing the same thing equally, how can one be a leader and the other one be following them?
Yeah. You're right. So I believe that each and every individual must have a personal rule, just as she said. And then when there are rules, I believe there will be accountability and there will be checks and balances. Mm-hmm. Growing up, what kind of marriage dynamic did you see in your culture?
So in Ghana, the marriage culture that we see is the man and the husband and the kids, maybe in a house or maybe in a compound house. Okay. It's an extended family system, so everybody plays a role and kind of has a role. Even the extended family and how the family, the household is run. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to the parents and then let's say the man and the woman, husband and wife, it's more the man, goes to work, provides for the family. Yeah. And then the woman is in charge of, let's say, cooking, sweeping, taking out trash, laundry, pretty much everything that's in the house. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Everything that has to do with the house, it's the woman's, and then the man is like providing chop money. So chop money is like, you know, money to cook, money to like he's paying the bills and stuff. But I also grew up in the US too, which is different, but I'll let you explain that more.
Well, for one, marriage is not as like common and standard in, I feel like, American culture. Whereas like in African cultures, you might, like, obviously if you're together and like you have kids and things like that, like you should be married. Here, it's a lot more common for people to like be in relationships, but not, and might even have children, but not necessarily be married. Yeah. But in the marriages that I did see growing up, I would say it was more like 50-50. So like women still did most of like the housework in terms of like cooking and like cleaning, but they were both working. Both the man and the woman were working, and they both like played a role in caring for the children. Okay. Like I'd say like the women were more like, you know, changing diapers, feeding them, but the man kind of led, I guess, like the like teaching of the children.
And maybe now it's a little different, but like in Ghana, like back when I was growing up, it's like the woman might have to go to work too, right? Same way the man goes to work, but the woman, when she gets back home, she has to make sure the kids shower or like, you know, bathe them, clean the house, cook, all of that extra stuff. It's just primarily seen as like the man is the provider and the woman is in charge of like taking care of the kids and making sure the house is a home.
Your culture, both can be working, but the man is seen like as the provider. Like in what sense is the man the provider? So
the man is actually still paying majority of the bills, like you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like over here, I feel like apart from people going to like, let's say, private schools, people don't really pay school fees. You understand? But back in Africa, for example, right, or Ghana specifically, like their school fees is not cheap. You know what I'm saying? You have to pay school fees and do all these extra bills that we might not have here. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, even though there's two incomes coming in, the man is what's primarily used to pay like majority of like the stuff.
What Kofi was saying, I would want to add to it. So in the Ghanaian community, when the men switches the role to do what the women were doing, the wives were doing, they call it diabolic. They'll be like, he has been ensnared, or we call it juju. The woman has done the man juju. Yeah, he has been ensnared by like a spiritual power. And when the woman also switches the role, the society will call the person a fool. Why are you giving to your man for him to stay home? Yeah, when the man shows his emotions, they call him to be a female. In our culture, they have this term in Tree, berima ensu, meaning a man shouldn't cry, a man shouldn't show his emotions. And the men or the husbands were supposed to be like always strong for the family, whilst the woman shows all her emotions and all that. But I believe that there's a new trend in our modern world. What is the new trend now?
I'm thinking you were trying to get at is like maybe the man stays home if possible and then the woman works. But so it works for some people, but personally I think that could lead to like a lot of problems. That's my that's what I think.
Do you agree?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I feel like the man is supposed to be the leader, right? And then when it comes to the time that the man is just always home and then the woman is working, it sets some type of, I don't know, like
regardless of whether it's the man or the woman, when someone is the breadwinner, there's a certain level of respect that is expected to be given to that person. Because without them, you don't have a place to live, you don't have food to eat, like things like that. So if a a woman is the one that's making all the money, I feel like she tends to have less respect for her husband.
That's what I was thinking.
Because it's like, well, I'm providing everything. Like, what are you? I don't need you because I'm the one with all the money. So it creates problems, in my opinion.
Emasculating.
Yeah, and she starts to emasculate her husband because she feels like you're not being a man.
Yeah.
Okay. These days, the women do what the men do, and the men also do what the women do. And on social media, you see men changing diapers, which in our culture wasn't something that our fathers used to do. And I think the traditional way of marriage has changed now, because now you see the men changing diapers. You see them being in the wardroom with the woman when they are giving birth.
Yeah.
But in the olden days, or the traditional way, the man would contact the external family members, like the sister of the woman, to be there, because he felt like this is a woman thing, I don't have to be there. But now roles are shifting. Everybody can perform any particular role except giving birth.
Yeah, and it's now, at least here in the US, like it's considered a negative thing if the husband isn't there during the child's birth.
Oh, okay.
And so when you look at this whole thing, there's pros and cons, right? Because when, for example, right, with the woman doing everything and changing diapers and all of that, like in a society where we both work, like the man and the woman works, I feel like it's can be a lot for the woman. And you see that back home, like you see the woman carrying the baby on her back all along in the kitchen cooking, doing all of that, and her husband is just like there, like just chilling.
Yeah.
And which I feel like it adds a little like stress on the woman. But as far as there's a clear balance, you know what I'm saying? Like, because at the end of the day, I think marriage is there. It's a institution to help each other. You know what I'm saying? And then the kids are equally yours.
Yeah.
But like, so I feel like the man should be able to like help the woman when it comes to certain things, even in the house and around the house. Because at the end of the day, we both work shifted, and you can't just leave as a man. You can't just leave everything on the woman. To do.
Because I feel like that will create resentment too. Like, it's one thing I think if like the man is the only one that's working and the woman's doing everything at home. But if, like you said, like if you're both going to work and then I have to come home and do everything, like I think it causes tension.
Yeah.
And like, even though that might be something that's normal, I feel like the happiness might not be the same between the couple. Like if you are helping each other like stress less, I think like nowadays the whole point of marrying someone is to make life easier for both of you. Like, so if I marry Kofi and my life only gets harder, it doesn't get any easier, it's like, how will I really be happy in that marriage if it's like I'm just struggling all the time?
Okay. Now, do you think there are some rules which are abnormal to the society, which are still abnormal to the society? Like when you see a husband performing a certain role and a woman performing a certain role, do you see some abnormalities in it?
Yes. No. One thing I think that's abnormal, or that should not be normalized, is I think now, and this is kind of like going to a question that you brought up earlier too, like the emotional side, like how in the past men were expected to not show their emotions. Yeah. I think now it's a lot more normal for men to show their emotions, which is a good thing.
Is it really?
I think it's a good thing.
Is it really going on?
I think it's not like as normal as a woman, but like people are becoming more like accepting of the fact that like, okay, men do have feelings too, and they should be able to express them. But I also think that like in certain ways, it's gone a little bit too far. Like where now you see in some relationships where the man is acting like a woman and the woman's more like hard and doesn't show her emotions and stuff like that. And I think like there needs to still be a balance. Like a man should express how he feels in his marriage, but he shouldn't be doing it in a way that like a woman would do it, if that makes sense. So like if your woman is like experiencing emotions, like because women are emotional people, trying to match that energy is not like, I feel like that's not a good thing. Like, you should still, as a man, learn how to like lead your woman in her emotions and understand like, okay, this is a woman that I'm dealing with, and not try to be the woman.
Yeah.
Okay. So I hear some of the wives saying that I'm in my soft girl era, and I need a break. Do you think the men also need like a soft guy era, and they also need a break from house chores or house responsibilities?
If you want to take a break from, doing your chores and stuff that you're supposed to do that we already discussed, then I also need a break from paying the bills, right? Guys.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
Oh yeah. What do y'all
We
think?
disagree.
I think it's only fair.
We disagree.
Because it's only fair.
Do you think
But
so?
I think it can be, that's fair to an extent. But like, say for example, if the man's the only one working, if you take a break from paying the bills, who's gonna pay the bills?
We all taking a break.
You
can't do
disagree.
tit for tat.
You disagree
Exactly.
with it.
We all taking a break.
I think, okay, it sounds sexist to say that it's not the same, but I think it's like, I think you should get a break.
From what responsibility or role?
Whatever your roles are. If your roles are just financial, then I think if the woman can provide a break, I think then, okay, sure, why not? But I think it shouldn't be something that like, oh, you're like, oh, I don't want to pay the bills this month, so can you do it? I think it should be more like the woman is like, okay, my husband has been providing for us all this time, like this month, let me take care of this for you.
Being in charge of your responsibilities. Like if you take a break, you want the husband to take do it instead, or what? Like what's the?
So,
I'm trying to understand.
What I'm trying to say is, these days you see most of the women vocalizing that they need a break from the chores, like taking care of the children, doing this, doing that, and I feel like most men don't communicate their burdens to. Sometimes they may be financially like overweight, and they would also want assistance from their wives, and at a point they will feel like, oh, I really need like a break. At this point, maybe I want to leave because they have been working their ass out, and at a point they would want to rest from like working, just to stay home for, let's say, a month or a week, 50-50. Since the women are advocating that they need a time out to, and when they leave the children with the husband, and the husband still keeps taking care of the trip, the children and everything at home, and you see the men crying out. Do you think men should also have a break, like a financial break?
Honestly, it depends on the job that both of you are doing, and then the communication between you guys. Because sometimes, especially if the man is covering all the bills, most of the times maybe his paycheck is actually higher than his wife. So like in that situation, how can you possibly take a break? Because all the bills are not going to be covered. But it all comes down to communication. Like that's the only way to make marriage work. To be honest, it's all about communicating. So if you feel like you actually genuinely do need a break, you should be able to communicate it and try to figure it out. If it means working overtime for a certain period of time so you can take that break, then definitely do it. But you need to make sure that everything is covered before you do stuff like that, make decisions like that.
Yeah. And I also feel like when it comes to men taking a break financially, like it has to make sense logically. Like, okay, if you're just, if I say I want a break because I'm doing all the house stuff and I'm tired, I need a break. And you're like, okay, I want a break from paying the bills. But you're still going to work every day. You're still making the money anyway. So you know what I'm saying? Like it has to be like logical. Like, okay, if you need a break, I feel like it doesn't make sense to say you need a break from paying for things. It makes more sense to say I need a break from work. Maybe you're tired of working. Yeah. But if you're still going to work, you're still making the money. Why are you not paying the bills?
I mean, yeah.
Sisterhood, they say men don't need a break. You don't need a break. You can't tell us that.
As a man,
Yeah.
Like that, it comes with it. You know, you put you put all these. You always gonna have responsibilities. So
And I think that's the point of like balancing, making sure that there's a good balance, so that you don't get super burnt out and one person doesn't feel like they're doing everything while the other one is not doing as much.
also, this is a great advice though. But like for people that are yet to be married, right? If you're not married yet, just make sure that the person you're getting married to can support you if something ever happens to you. Because there's some people out there that, you know, you're married to them, but they always want you to cover like bills. You know what I'm saying? If there was ever a time that you cannot work due to like an accident or something, they're gonna leave you because they will not want to like step up and do and help you out. You know what I'm saying? They always want you to do a specific something for them. So you have to know the person that you're getting married to, for real.
I believe it should be reciprocal, like give and take.
Yeah.
Sometimes if the woman is financially sound to provide in the home, you can tell your man, okay, this month this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to pay all the bills. But you should communicate. Maybe it may be the need of the man that he really wants a financial break. Maybe he has family members, and let's say in the next month there's a lot of financial burden on him, and he can communicate to the wife, who is in quotes financially capable of helping.
That's the point I'm trying to get at. That is that right now in society, certain people don't like that. You know what I'm saying?
Which people?
Like just people, like depending on who they are. Like some people are with people because of what you're getting and not what you're giving back. So in a situation like that, like maybe God forbid you get into a car accident or something, you cannot work. Instead of them to see that, or let's say you can't take care of yourself anymore, like instead of them to like step up and like fill in that gap, they're not willing to do that. So they're gonna leave you. So you should be able to get married to, even though let's say for now you as the man, you're taking care of everything. You should know that like if God forbid something was to happen to you, would your wife be able to like fill in that position and try to like find a job that will like or do whatever she can do to like help.
What rigid role did you see in the traditional marriage that you wouldn't want the new or the modern way of marriage? Like, what role don't you want to see men or women playing? Like that rigid role.
I mean, I don't know about necessarily like a rigid role, but I guess like the idea that like men can't do any like cleaning at all. Yeah. Like to me, I think like for us in our marriage, it works like, okay, if I'm taking care of most of the stuff for the house, he's doing like things outside of the house. Like that's what works for us, but still like he'll still help me out. Yeah. But like the idea of like, okay, like a woman has to do every single thing for the husband. I think men are also capable of doing certain things. Like you should be able to clean up after yourself. It shouldn't be like, oh, you just leave things however, and then your woman has to come and clean up behind you. Like I think it should be like you're helping each other out a bit.
Example is the woman cooking and feeding the kids, and the man's role, which is unchangeable, is you give the money and the woman will cook. The man doesn't cook, the man only brings the money and the woman will cook. And there's this high pressure on the lady. Learn how to cook. Because the only way to your husband's stomach is food.
Yeah.
And that was one rigid rule. And if you were married and you couldn't cook, in fact, your in-laws can come and sack you out of the house.
Yeah.
And if you're a man and you are not providing, the same way.
Yeah.
So what do you think shouldn't be included in our modern day marriage?
I was gonna say cooking, because some men know how to cook better than their wives. And then if you can cook, why not? You know what I'm saying? Cook for everyone. But even for example, even if the wife is cooking for the most part, right? And you, the guy, you know how to like make, they say like fried rice very well. You know what I'm saying? Like once in a while, like, you know, chef it up. You know, like, you know, it shouldn't be like, okay, since I'm the man, I'm
cook.
never cooking. Like that's how some, that's like rigid. Like some places, it's like that. Like the man is never in the kitchen cooking. But I feel like as a man, if you know how to make certain things, you know, you spice it out. Sometimes, you know, breakfast in bed for your wife. You know, like, you know, romantic.
Brotherhood is talking.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like, you know, spice it up. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you can, you know, it should, even though you guys have rules and stuff, it should be dynamic. Like, you should be able to, like, you know, don't be too bent out. Like, I'm not doing this. Like, that's not my rule. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you should, if let's say if the rule is for the wife to always clean, like that's the rule you guys have established. Like the wife is gonna clean the house every other week or every weekend, and then you see that this weekend, like, you know, she had a lot of things to do, and then you can help her. You're not doing anything. You're just sitting down watching TV. Like, you know, you can just help her a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, stuff like that.
Why is it so difficult for some men to express their emotions in marriage? They never express how they feel.
No, so there's a thing about, if you're a guy, you definitely heard this or you've experienced it before. There's a thing about, like, you know, talking to a woman and expressing how you feel, and then most of the times guys, it always comes down back to bite them. You know what I'm saying? So let's say, for example, right, I've seen different instances that, like, a guy can open up to a woman about, oh, this and this is how I'm feeling, this is what's going on, and then boom, oh, this is very personal, like, no, I don't, you know what I'm saying, this is a very personal thing I'm telling you, and then boom, you get into an argument or, like, you know, something, and then they're bringing it up and then they're using it against you. It happens a lot, and guys don't like that, because in general, men don't like problems. Like, they don't like going back and forth.
Really?
It's true.
Girls also don't like problems.
No, you guys are more into, like, you know, going, like, arguments and stuff. Like, men love peace. That's all we
Women
want.
also do.
No.
Do you?
We love peace. I think men just sometimes don't understand how what they're doing is causing a problem.
Yeah.
And we're just the one that's vocalizing it.
Yes.
I'm telling you, if you give a woman too much peace, oh no.
That's true.
You have to spice it up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes just get her mad.
Why?
Because they love it. They love it. They don't like.
I don't.
They don't
Hi,
like
Sister Wood, I'm not part. I don't like to be mad.
They don't like peace like for an extended period of time. So, but men love peace. We love peace. So
I disagree.
So, well, back to what I was saying, right? So, like, yeah, men don't like stuff like that. Like, I tell you something and an argument comes up, and then it's like you're vocalizing what, you know, I discussed with you, and then, yeah, because of that, it's like, some men would rather not express their emotions at all. And also, because it makes some men perceive, like, you know, them expressing their emotions make them feel weak. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then sometimes when a woman sees that you're like a weak man, like, you know what I'm saying, it can start disrespecting you and stuff, and men don't like that. So
Okay.
we are very egotistical.
Do women feel some kind of pressure when they're about to marry? What goes on in the mind of a woman? Is it about the roles, how marriage is going to be? Like, just let me know what goes on in the mind of a woman.
I think so. I think specifically speaking from, like, I guess a more westernized view also, like, you're used to, or you're taught, especially like as an African American, you're taught to be like independent. And a lot of times you'll hear like mothers telling their daughters like not to fully depend on a man, because in our culture sometimes the men don't use that responsibility the way that they should. Like, you might depend on him, like say you move in with him and you're living with him and he's providing everything for you, and then like when he's starting to cheat on you or he's being abusive, now you're trapped because you have nothing for yourself. So I think when you're like about to get married, there's that one fear of like fully trusting somebody to provide for you. And then also like the pressure of the roles. Like if that's not something that you're used to, like you're used to being on your own. Yeah. Now you have someone else that you're responsible for caring for. Yeah. You have to show up a certain type of way. You can't just live your life how you would have if it was just you. Yeah. So I think like there is a little of like fear of like, okay, are you going to live up to your role in a way that is like expected, and also is that relationship going to work out? Because if you invest so much into that and then say this person decides to leave you, or however way it can go wrong, okay. I think that can just be scary especially if you don't have like a good example of it too.
Sometimes women go through some pressures before entering marriage, but I believe when a lot of discussions are done during dating or during courtship, the fear can be minimized or it can be increased depending on what or who she's going in for. Mm-hmm. So we are coming to the end of our discussion, and it's so sad because I really enjoyed everything here. Personally, what do you want to tell people out there who are about to marry? What do you want them to know before marriage concerning gender roles?
I definitely do think that it's a conversation that needs to be had, but also be flexible a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Don't be like so stuck on like your expectations or whatnot, because every day, every weekend is gonna be different. Every day is gonna be different, and then life happens. So you should be able to like be flexible. Like
yeah, I'd say know who you're marrying. Like you said, have those conversations beforehand, and then just always be open and honest, and communicate like what your needs are, how you're feeling, and like where you guys are at with like how things are going.
Yeah, communication is definitely big, and like it needs to be. You guys always have to talk about stuff
and be honest. Like don't be saying like, oh yeah, I'm the type to cook, clean, do all these things, and then when you guys get married, then you're like, oh, I don't want to do this because you told this person that that's like what you believe.
Yeah,
okay.
Definitely.
So, this reminds me of a story of a guy who was so much in love with a lady, and this lady made a guy know that she wants to be a corporate woman. She's not ready to cook. She's not going to make a man lead her, because in her house, the woman is the boss. She doesn't want to be controlled, and she told the guy that anytime that they are hungry, it's either they order for food or they get a maid. And the guy asked her who is going to cater for that financially, and she was like, we are both going to do that, because she's not also going to give all her money out to the man to do those things. And although these people love themselves, but none of them was ready to compromise their roles, especially with the woman. She wasn't ready to compromise. What I want to say is that when you marry, there's something called adjustment. You may discuss certain things, your roles, what you want to do, but along the line, things happen, and you will have to one will have to compromise, one will have to adjust. So just keep in mind, gender roles are there, but in the marriage, there's adjustments. Thank you for watching us.
That was really good.
Yeah. Test mic 1 2. We're done.